And without much further ado, let's bring the first storyteller, Lupe.
Is there a microphone magician in the house? Oh yeah, this guy right here. I forgot. He's a DJ. All right. All right. Thank you very much. It's great to be back. Let's share a moment together. It's 1976. My parents are both 20 years old, and my mom's in the last stages of pregnancy with me in her belly. My dad, like a 20-year-old expectant father might do, decided to go out one night and party for a bit. Like a 20-year-old first-time father in the 70s might do, his partying ultimately drew the attention of the cops, and he got arrested. Unfortunately, my dad was an undocumented immigrant, and he was deported right before I was born. He suddenly found himself back in Mexico, trying to get back to Chicago before my birth. I can only imagine what it was like to feel that guilt and anxiety, to be processed by prison and immigration systems, to be without money, feeding yourself from trash, enduring and fighting just to get back. Things that he witnessed and experienced that he hasn't mentioned or talked about more than 40 years later. Meanwhile, my mom's just trying to cope, like a 20-year-old expectant mother might do, and like a 20-year-old expecting her first kid in the 70s might do. She ultimately started freaking out. She found herself scared, worried, and alone. I can only imagine what it was like to be rushed to the hospital by other family members, all talking shit about the father of your child, and then to find out that there's complications with the birth. All the while knowing that you lost your own mother just 7 years earlier when she was in labor. As my mom told me this story for the first and only time when I was 21 years old, she described this deal she made with La Virgen de Guadalupe. If you make sure that my baby makes it out of this okay, boy or girl, I promise to name it after you. And so here I am. My dad missed my birth, but he found his way back. And when he got his shit together and found a place for all of us to stay, he walked into the apartment that my mom and I were staying at, and he took a look at me for the first time. He then walked us all out, and we started our life together as a family. Now, with such a tumultuous start, as you can imagine, there was a lot of bumps along the way. But I'm happy to report that my mom and dad are still together to this day. They went on to raise 4 boys and helped us all become the grown, responsible, professional men and fathers that we grew up to be. They're my personal heroes. Now, I came out here tonight to tell this story with Nestor at this great show for 3 simple reasons. Number 1, immigrants are bad motherfuckers. Yeah. And they're not even trying to make anything great. They're just trying to make it. And despite what you may have heard, I promise you, you're not going to find 2 better people than my mom and dad to be representatives of your community and citizens of your country. I just wanted everybody to know. Number two, just in case you or someone you know needed to hear it, no matter how far you think you've drifted off the path, there's always a way back. Let this immigration story be proof. And number three, please keep supporting Chicago storytelling. My name is Lupe Nunez. Thank you for having me back. Thank you, Nestor. Thank you, Lee.